Hey, it's your fur pal Zul. For this video, I want to do something different, kind of like along lines of short story, but I'm using the theme of Pokemon this time. I recently started playing Pokemon Scarlet. Out of all of them, it has the most benefits to me. And I like that it's on the Nintendo Switch, so therefore you can take it with you anywhere. You're not limited, you know? And if it needs an update, the Game Freak does it for you. So you don't have to go in and do any interaction and stuff. It's relatively simple. I do appreciate that. The social stuff is not my strong suit. I have limited energy here. But for that game, I usually would choose Spirito, the grass cat Pokemon. Again, I like cats. But then this time though, doing it for a third try again. I was thinking as I was watching the Pokemon interact with my character in the game, I realized out of the three, there was one that actually was more attentive than the others, I realized, and that was Fuecoco. I was like, oh, that's sweet. That's led me to choosing Fuecoco. Perfect segue for its evolution next of it is Crocolar. And I can see the reason for its having a hat, but yet, why that? I mean, I know that it has a reason, but still it's but yeah, again, it's the middle starter phase, so they tend to be awkward. Well, that one, Crocolar, evolves at level 36. Next, one of the early Pokemon you might find is Lechonk. Now, I was tempted to call it Piglet when I caught it, but no, I called mine Wilbur. If you know who that character is, thumbs up. Well, Lechonk evolves at level 18, but it has two different variants in regards to gender. I like the female one versus the male, not because of the gender specifically, but the design. Because the female one looks so pretty, while the male one kind of looks like an emo pig out to destroy the world. Next is a Pokemon that's a grass type that I've already evolved to a point in the middle stage of Skiploom. But that Pokemon though, I've experienced many times in the open world where I try to check it. Sorry about that. Throw my Pokeball at a particular Pokemon, but then all of a sudden that Skiploom will be in the way. It's like, seriously, Skiploom? No, I don't want you. Or I have one. One's enough. Well, to evolve Skiploom, simply level 27. Going with the ranks now to flying, but flying and fire this type with Fletchinder as the second stage. But that one evolves at level 35, and I like it. The concept of a fire bird. It's nice. And then next is Pomo, the second stage for Pomni. And I was thinking, that must be it, a simple 2 stages enough. Then I realized after research that Pomo actually evolves. How it evolves, mind you? Do you think it's leveling up? No. Do you think it's a type of evolutionary stone? No. You think trading? No. In Pokemon Scarlet, the Pathia region, you have to walk 1,000 steps. Mind you, it has to be out of its Pokeball falling behind you in the open world. That's the only way it's able to follow you, I think. You can look it up again, or try that out when I play again. But, yeah, that's a new one, and it's 1,000 steps. Next is Houndour. I like that one because in this game, actually features it early on in the story, which I like. That evolves at level 24. Next is Yungoos. And I have a bit of a interesting take on Yungoos. When I first saw it in Pokemon Moon and Against Sun, I thought it was it was a cute little ferret, totally fine, but then it evolves. And I don't like the evolved form. I don't like it at all. It looks like an upright ferret, but it's an evil ferret that's in business. I don't like it. I prefer Yungoos. It's much cuter. It makes more sense to me. But if you want to evolve Yungoos, you have to evolve it in level 20, but in the daytime. Next is Squirvot, one that was mentioned in Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's a simple squirrel Pokemon, but it's there's other normal types I prefer to have, but I need it for the Pokedex, so that one evolves at 24. Next is Sunkern. And in order to evolve that one, you need a Sunstone. It's misleading thinking it must evolve regularly by, level, right? No, you need a Sunstone, not a Leaf Stone. This is a grass type, right? You think it would need a Leaf Stone, but no, it needs a Sunstone. Then thinking later that it evolves into Sunflora, so now it makes sense. And that's featured in the game at some point. Next is Kricketot. In previous games, I really didn't pay much mind to that Pokemon, because when it evolves into its next form, don't like the appearance, but at this point in time, the look has kind of grown on me. Thankfully for Kricketot, it's quite, easy and fast, level 10. Which is normal because grass type, but typically bug type evolve much more faster in comparison to other Pokemon. Speaking of another Pokemon that's a bug type, is Combee, specifically female Combee. If it's a male, it won't evolve, so it has to be female. To evolve it at level 21 for a female Combee. And do you realize how difficult it is to find a female Combee? Very difficult. At a certain point, you'd be thinking like, no, I don't want you male Combee, stop. I want the female one. The female one. Give me the female one. Next is Corvisquire in the middle stage, before it evolves into Corviknight. I believe that's the name. I have to double check, but I like the concept of Squire, then Knight, and I like the fact that it's a metal bird. And I actually like it more than Skarmory. I like it more. Well, that one evolves at level 38. And there's an interesting Pokédex entry that I found funny, but related to a different Pokemon that I will discuss later. Next is Happiny. It kind of sounds like a food, like one of those characters in Chowder. I think her name was also Happiny. Maybe. I don't verify that. I know that, but in order to evolve Happiny, you need an oval stone and during the daytime. Okay. Makes us the lore because it wants an egg, and then when it evolves into Chansey, it does have that one. But in order to evolve Chansey into its more feathery, more cute form, I guess, to evolve it via max friendship. And that right there is the beginning of when things start to get a bit annoying in Pokemon. Really, Game Freak? Really? I understand the concept. I really do. But I wish there was a meter of friendship, with saying oh, you're at this point, you're at this point. So you kind of can gauge it, But no. It's just pure chance. And then you're saying oh, it's evolving. It's And then I'm evolving into Moril at level 18. It's okay, simple enough. Next is Skirskit, a bug water type. I like it. Which evolves at level 22, thus its final form, I really like. It's quite pretty. After that is Psyduck. A true, favorite, obviously, because it's one of the OG Pokemon in the series. And the fact that now, after seeing Inside Out 2, it looks similar to the emotion anxiety. I can now not unsee it. And it evolves into Golduck. And thinking, it'd be gold, right? I guess I was Psyduck. Okay. But even better yet, do you think it'd be a water psychic type, right? Because it learns a psychic type in the beginning as Psyduck. But no, just a water type. It's okay, but disappointing, or whatever. Next is Chewtle. That Pokemon was featured in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I like it. It's kind of, cute, little rascal type. I can get the appeal. Level 22, so not so bad. I guess evolved form better. It's cool. It's a water rock type. And after that is Igglybuff, the little cute little pink thing, the forgotten baby Pokemon that's before, Jigglypuff, which is Igglybuff. That one again, like most baby Pokemon, require a max friendship to evolve. It's kind of like a numbers game. It's is it gonna evolve now? Is it gonna evolve then? It's kind of like on your tippy toes, wondering when it'll evolve. But once it does evolve into Jigglypuff, you need a Moonstone. If you read into the Pokédex entry, which I might go over, it makes sense as to why it needs one to evolve. However, for Glade, the male version of when Kirlia evolves into that one instead of, the typical Gardevoir. Well, you need a Dawnstone, and by far, it's easier to find a Moonstone versus a Dawnstone. I remember at one point in one of the games, there was a store that sold, evolution stones, and that was perfect. But not all of them, unfortunately. Seriously. Now, next is Drowsy. And I can't get behind that Pokemon. It's creepy. It looks like a chubby, upright anteater. But it's creepy, and its evolved form is not better. But it evolves at level 26. Next is Ghastly. Another, OG, which one I like. little gas, as it says. That's purple. Making me think, what else gas is that is purple? But that's for something else, so getting off track. Now going back, it evolves to level 25 into Haunter. And now, Haunter's interesting, because I like it. A bit annoying because you need to use trade. And back then, I understand the appeal that they want to encourage social interaction with other people that also enjoy the game. But nowadays, it's not as a good method. So, there's a Pokédex entry about it that is interesting. Now think about it. Because it says that whoever Haunter licks, the victim, they die. Now, if you remember, Misty, one of the main characters in the beginning, she got licked by a Haunter, yet she survived, did not die. Now I can think maybe she did die, but instead, though, the Haunter then took on her form and then pretended to be her for the rest of the series. Because based on the entry, she would have died. Then next is Tandemos. I like mouse Pokemon, You can't beat Pikachu and all the Pikachu clones. But for Tandemos, it's a bit interesting. Like, really taking the idea of being connected at the hip, literally. But that one evolves at level 25. And just like every baby Pokemon, as I say before, Pichu evolves at max friendship. And then Pikachu, obviously, those that are watching the show, Thunderstone. And how our, favorite Pikachu, before, the Journey series, would not want to evolve, would refuse a Thunderstone and actually work better. I find that admirable. Now, and unfortunately, Pikachu is much more favorable in comparison to Raichu, but still Raichu has an appeal. Before, it had the 3D sprite. And its, lone form is, I prefer that one too, much better. Next, though, is another Pokemon that's from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Fido, and that's pretty cute. That's what it evolves into, but that one evolves at level 26. But since it's Fido, it's made of actual dough, so wouldn't birds actually peck at it and try to eat it? Just saying, just putting it out there. Next is Sloth. And it's okay, Sloth, typical normal type, That one evolves at level 18 into Vigoroth. And I like Vigoroth. I like the design, and I wish it would stay there. I wish it did not evolve into its final form. It's because it has the ability of lounging around, so it doesn't attack for one turn. But, it's not that great. But Vigoroth evolves at level 36. Next is Steenie, the second stage. And then I think the other one before that was a little cute little berry, but I don't remember the name right now. But it evolves after learning Stomp. Usually, when I'm looking further, when does it actually learn Stomp? Level 28. There we go. I like its final form. I like it. However, though, it is odd that they kind of make certain Pokemon look appealing intimately, and that's a bit odd. At times, like a grass type, really? Really? I mean, I am a furry, but it's it looks too human to me. A human grass Pokemon, but you know what I mean. Everyone has their certain, preferences. Oh, I like this one because it's cool, etc. Then after that is Smoliv. It's cute, a little, olive. And I like its, shiny form as a black olive, and that's a pretty nice touch. It evolves at level 25. And it evolves into Dolliv. Again, cute because it's a little doll as an olive. Pretty clever. It evolves at level 35. Its final evolution is featured in the Journey series. I'm not going to spoil it for you. After that is Bonsley. That Pokemon I think Brock had. And again, when it evolves into Sudowoodo, it makes sense. It's a rock type. The Latin term pseudo means, fake, so thus Sudowoodo, fake, wood. It's actually a rock type. And evolves after learning Mimic. And I researched that, level 16. I'm gonna see if that's true. Next is Rockruff. I like it. It's a rock dog Pokemon. It's cute. And when it evolves at level 25, you have to be careful though because it has 3 variants. The sun version, which is Lycan Rock, or daytime, the midnight version, and then the dusk version. You can easily get the daytime and midnight one, but the dusk one is nearly impossible. I mean, there's an event for that, but I missed that. So I hope there's another way to get it without that. After that is Royally Coley. I mean, well, I like the aesthetic, that was featured in Pokemon Sword and Shield. That one evolves at level 18 into Carkol. Man, yeah. That one evolves at level 34, but it should probably stop there. In my opinion. Next is Starly. An early bird Pokemon, I believe, in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. That one evolves at level 14 into Staravia, which evolves at level 34 into its final form. And, I like it. And thought its behavior in Pokemon Legends Arceus was interesting, that it would actually try to attack you, Staraptor, after evolving from Staravia. Next in the line is Mareep, the cute little electric sheep. I like it. Simple, cute design, it makes sense. Is that wool? It would generate electricity. And that one evolves at level 15 into Fluffy. Again, still cute. Now it's upright. Okay. And evolves at level 30 into its final form is okay. Now it looks more like an alien sheep than an actual sheep now. And it does have, Mega Evolution. That becomes a dragon type, but it's it's not real one though. Honestly, I wish they made Charizard a dragon type. He looks like a dragon type, or her. They look like a dragon type. Make it a dragon type. I mean, I know they made up for it for, Pokemon X and Y, for Pokemon X, where Charizard via Mega Stone becomes a, Dragon Fire type, but it's not the same. It's temporary. Next up is Patilli, a grass type. You need Sunstone. Again, it's a plant type. It makes sense now at this point. Next is Applin, a cute little apple dragon Pokemon. And depending on which one, the apple is, gets a different version of that Applin. So for me, I prefer the Applin using the tart apple. And then there's apparently Diplin that has another evolution that's pretty cool. That one uses a syrupy apple. It's okay, interesting. Up next is Spoink. That one evolves at level 32, and it's kind of a bit concerning that it has to keep going, otherwise its heart will stop. That was in one of the Pokedex entries, mind you. Up next is Mischievous. You evolve via Duskull. However, though, it's only a violet Pokemon. I think I have a friend who can actually trade with now. I can actually get Mischievous. I like Mischievous. It's a cool Pokemon. Up next is Makuhita. And it's cute. I like it. It should have stayed that way. And then by evolving at level 24 into its final form, it's So, because of that final form, I named it Sumo. Sumo wrestler. If you know, you know. Up next is Crabrawler. And you need an Ice Stone. It's really? And that's the first time I'm thinking about it, that Pokemon needed Ice Stone. I mean, I know there's another one, but I was in shock when I learned that. Which then makes sense, it's its next evolution, which is, I think Water Ice type? Those newer ones I'm not as up to date with. Up next is Slandit. For males, they just stay the same. Just like for Combee and Vespiquen, you need a female Slandit to evolve it into Salazzle at level 33. And again, just like a female Combee, is that difficult to find a female Slandit. And when you finally get it, and then your Pokemon's too strong and kills it, it's no! If you know that feeling, I salute you about that. That pain. Then the next is Phanpy. I like it. It's a cute little Pokemon that makes you think of Dumbo, which evolves at level 25. And I prefer its primal form versus the futuristic one. Well, futuristic ones didn't go so well for me. And others too, I realize. Then Kufant, another, elephant Pokemon, evolves at level 34. It's okay, I can see the inspiration for it. Up next is a Dragon-type Pokemon, and I like Dragon types. It's Gibble. That evolves at level 24, and at one point, if I get a male one, I want to name it Gibby. Maybe, possibly. After evolving at level 24, it becomes a Gabite. I'm okay, this is a first for a middle stage that actually looks cool and not awkward. And that one evolves at level 48. And that's a huge jump, but that's not a surprise because it's a dragon type. They usually take a long time. And, I can see that. Relate to dragons in a way. Up next is the second stage, Knuckle Stack. Again, I've been playing, so I got to the second stage. And that one evolves into its final form at 38. And the first one is essentially NaCl, which is, the compound for salt. So it's funny. I like that they use chemistry, like knowledge. But when I think about it, when battling against like a bird Pokemon, that bird got defeated by a big block of salt. It's funny when you think about it. And up next is Wingull. Level 25. I like a seagull, but I don't like its second form. But, you need it for a Pokedex. Up next is Magikarp, a nice favorite. I like the shiny because it's, gold. But they did Magikarp dirty. Especially the move Splash. It doesn't do anything. That's just cruel. Very cruel. But that one evolves to level 20. Which can be tedious, mind you, because Magikarp doesn't learn, an actual offensive attack until maybe, 15? It's very tedious. Both experience share in this game, okay, it's feasible. It's fine. Up next is Arcuda, another fish, and that one evolves to level 26. I like it. At least the names are not getting too dull. At least. Up next is a, fan favorite, mine too, is Meowth. I like cats. Upright Cat, the famous one in Team Rocket. Well, the regular Meowth evolves at level 38. Scratch that. 28. There's other variants. It's okay, I can see how it looks like that, but come on, Game Freak, share the love for other Pokemon that really need it, that don't evolve. They need it most. Up next is Drifloon, and that one evolves at level 28. It makes sense, it's a ghost type that's also flying for a Pokédex entry that steals children away, but still, they make the ghost types have really dark Pokédex entries. Up next is Flabébé, or try and make it sound right, Flabébé. You know what I mean. It's a cute little fairy type, and that new typing was featured in Pokemon X and Y. I like that. It really upped, at least the common ground for normal types to now have an edge than they did before. It evolves at level 19, and it has different variants. Again, just like collecting Pokemon, you also have that urge to collect the different colors of Flabébé, which are red, blue, white, orange, and yellow. And once you get into Follette, you need a Shining Stone. Okay, that one's probably even harder to find than Dawnstone. Up next, now going to a ground type Diglett. And it's cute, level 26, but of which it evolves, but then it becomes, the trio, but yet it's basically the same one, just two others. I'm just wondering, it's when it evolves, do two others just that are also single then come together to become one? How does that work? If there's a little booklet about Pokemon biology, I want to see it. Be cool. And then for Numel, I remember that was in Pokemon Emerald, I think. That was the first Pokemon game I played. But Numel evolves at level 33. I like the concept of a little, fire camel. And up next, I may have saying that word a lot, but mind you, there's a lot of Pokemon. Stay tuned.